Welcome to the Southwest. It's great to be back in Tucson. Happy to have all of you here, and for those of you that couldn't make it, I know we have a bunch online, so thank you for joining us that way. For some of the online attendees, it might be the middle of the night here, because we have a growing international community that is joining us to just see what's going on at the RESO conference this year. Want to just say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here and support RESO. It is because of your efforts that we are gaining the interest of countries all over the world. We are gaining the adoption numbers of the standards that all of you have built. RESO truly is a different type of organization, and we hold a different type of conference. While you definitely will see presentations from the stage upcoming talking about things that have been delivered, we have 2 conferences a year, and we turn the microphones over to you for a reason. It's because this is a community that helps build the standards. And while we have had wonderful success in the creation of our API, of our versions of the data dictionary, and our other standards, the job is far from done. We have ever-increasing use cases that have complexity and are going to require brain power of all of you to bring those new standards to bear. It's not just the creation, it is also identifying the hurdles to adoption. And so I just want to encourage everyone to participate. Don't be afraid to look a little silly. Don't be afraid to show your personality, because you have a very forgiving community. At least I hope so. We just want to make sure that you feel like your ideas matter, and we have, like I said, a lot of presentations to show how they are actually being utilized. So please don't be afraid to grab a microphone and have your voices heard. It really, really does make a difference, and we need it. So for all of you, for all of your work, I tip my hat to you and want to say thank you.
Progressive walk-up music. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see you all here in person. Obviously, we love to get together with our community here at RESO, so we're happy to see you. Not a bad location, right? Thanks to the RESO staff. They do a great job of setting these venues up. Now, just to know sort of who we have in the crowd today, can you raise your hand if you're a first-time attendee to a RESO conference? Okay, a good-sized portion of the crowd. That tracks. We've got a lot of folks who come here year after year, but we love having new folks here, so we want to make sure that you get a good feel for this organization and what we do. It's a little bit different style at our event. So first and foremost, we're lucky to have leadership in this organization, like our chair, Rebecca Jensen, who leads many organizations, but has been a stalwart for RESO, for this organization for many years. Can you give a big round of applause for Rebecca Jensen? So for the new folks, you may have heard about the kind of content that happens at a RESO session. You may have heard there's a lot of tech, a lot of flashy, innovative AI-related sessions. And that's true, but we're lucky as an organization because of where we work. Because we work at a very human side of the real estate transaction, where people buy, sell, rent properties, where they make their residences, where they raise their families. And that's our mission, is to serve those people, not just MLSs, not just brokers and agents, but also consumers, all of the stakeholders in real estate transactions. And we work at the intersection of that very human part of a transaction with the technology, the innovation, the new ways we can support those consumers, those technology companies, those practitioners, but also the challenges. There are obviously a lot of challenges that we work on. And we highlight AI and new tech innovations not for the flash, not for the sizzle, not just to entertain you, although we may entertain you, maybe intentionally or not sometimes during our sessions, but for the impact that you have on the industry through the technology that we use to serve these customers. It's about the impact that you bring to the industry, sometimes a little bit under the surface. The work that you do, showing up here to an event, coming to the work groups in person, going to a work group online. As simple as making a comment, engaging in a debate during a session, helping us with testing rules, with certification, with processes. All those little things that may seem small on their own, but have a ripple effect across the industry, sometimes a little bit under the surface for what most people see. But you see that impact. And we see that impact in certifications. We see that at the MLS level, where we have 93% of MLSs in the US that have been certified on RESO standards. That's broad coverage. It's impact that can be seen in adoption. We see that impact in utilization, not just having a certified service available to your customers, but for your customers to spend their time and resources to adopt that technology. For them to say, we're going to put developer hours and dollars into changing our current processes because we see the value, we see the impact of the constantly improving standards that we have available because of the work that you do. We see that impact in technology innovation with our incumbent technology vendors who served us for many years, bringing us new products, new features, because of new standards that help that foundation of them building products, and especially in new prop tech companies, when we see startups bringing new products, new features that scale faster across markets, across MLSs, across brokerages, across different systems at a faster speed and at a lower cost because of standards, because standards allow them to do that. We see it particularly with one new development in Data Dictionary 2.0. We've seen this standard which you ratified just a year ago, and in the last 6 months, we've gotten 20% of the MLSs certified on this new standard. It's actually a higher number since we put this slide together. And because of the size of those organizations that have been certified so far on Data Dictionary 2.0, we have 50% coverage of subscribers across MLSs already in the US. 50% or more of agents working in MLS marketplaces now have an MLS that's certified on Data Dictionary 2.0. And that's important because we're always at some point on this continuum. We're always progressing. We'll never be finished with the work. There's always more to do. But sometimes it's also important to step back and look at what you've achieved at a moment in time. That we need to step back and just look at an accomplishment and to feel the weight of that accomplishment. Data Dictionary 2.0 was 2.0 for a reason, because it was a transformative change. It's the biggest technical lift that we've ever asked of our technical community. And it's the biggest opportunity so far that we've given to this industry with the power of standards. While you're here this week, you should celebrate that. You should enjoy that. You should bask a little bit in the gratitude that this industry has for the work you do, a lot of times behind the scenes, to make the greatest benefit so far that RESO has ever given to the real estate industry, the Real Estate Standards Organization. I want you to celebrate that this week. Why not right now? Give yourselves a round of applause. And let's talk about the companies who've done the work. Let's recognize them while we're here. All of these organizations have passed certification with the MLSs that they're working with. If you see your company as we announce you and you're associated with that organization, please stand and stay standing as a group. Bridge Interactive, Centris, Cotality CoreLogic, MLS Grid, FBS, Hawaii Information Service, Pikes Peak Realtor Services, Realtina, Source RE, the MLS, and ZenList. Could everyone please give them a big round of applause? And many of you are probably aware that we don't just certify MLS organizations anymore. We can certify any company that works with real estate data, and we're seeing those certifications come in. RESO Common Format is what we call a transport agnostic standard. It doesn't matter how you transport or how you deliver your data. If you can package it up in a common way that people understand, like a mailing postage address, then you can ship that data around in a standardized fashion to other companies. And we see adoption in many new spaces for RESO members. We've got, and again, if you're associated with these companies, please do stand and stay standing. Agent Book in the AMS space. Constellation Home Builder Systems in new construction. Earth Advantage in the environmental space. FBS on the MLS side. iGuide and Planetar in digital tours. MPAC, Ontario's Government Assessment Corporation. Pearl Certification on the green energy side. Pikes Peak Realtor Services in MLS. PlaceKey in geodata. And Planet RE in AI and marketing services. Could you please give these companies a big round of applause? You've heard a lot about the international work that we've been doing. Now, while it's just a sliver of what we do, we have the vast majority of our organizations in North America. We do see this demand continuing. We have member organizations headquartered in more than 20 countries now. And it's worth recognizing that some might ask, why do international work when we have not perfected the standards in the US? We haven't perfected the standards across North America yet. And part of the answer is that we have 93% of MLSs in the US that have already been certified. We would love to continue bringing in new organizations who support us financially, but with global growth of the standards themselves. As you know, there's not a Spanish Wi-Fi or an Italian Bluetooth. They're just Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And RESO standards are international. They are multi-language. They can be used in any country. So it's important to be able to support these organizations who are coming in and contributing through their work, through their certifications, and financially to the success of our organization. And this is why we're involved in international MLS forums, why we were in Paris and Milan, as these countries invited us to join their events, where we had more than 50 countries represented at the last forum. It's why we'll be in Toronto this summer, right after CMLS, and bring more organizations together for that international work. It's why Abu Dhabi has asked to host an international MLS forum event next year in 2026, because they want to contribute to this initiative, to this community that you've built. Just in the past year, we've had a lot of new international companies join RESO membership. We have about 50 organizations that are headquartered outside of the US, but just in the past year, we've had companies in Delhi, India, Brussels, Paris, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, Kamloops and Duncan, Ottawa and Stockholm, Toronto, Dublin and Accra. The demand is there. These countries see that they can get value because they see the impact that you have on their businesses, the impact that you have in the North American market that they want to see in their marketplaces as well. And what is it they're looking for? They're looking for certainty. They're looking for confidence that they can build technology systems and marketplaces that bring them transparency so they can have efficient, clear, accurate transactions. And we provide that certainty and that transparency through certification. That's what they're seeking. That's why, on an average system, we run more than 1 million tests for an MLS on hundreds of thousands of property records to bring them that certainty that they're looking for from a stable international standards body. It's also important, as we celebrate this week, this achievement of Data Dictionary 2.0, to remember how we got here, to remember the work that it took to get to this point, that we haven't perfected things, and we never will perfect the standard, but that we've had great achievements along the way. Because RESO, not so long ago, was not such a large organization. You remember the days of RETs, the days of working at NAR buildings, drinking cheap beer on the Chicago organization that then hosted this little engine that could, on cold pizza and bottled water. That was the genesis of this organization, people working on something very hard, something very difficult, with no guarantee of success. But we grew, and the organization became an independent standards body. And as we grew, we encountered growing pains as an organization. What we thought would work early on with dozens of companies in membership became much more difficult because of our success. Some of you may remember SAIs. Any hands? Statements of additional information and certification? There are a few. Basically a manual process of verifying exceptions at every MLS level. And as you can imagine, when you have hundreds and hundreds of organizations joining and thousands of manual verifications for certification, it becomes unmanageable, and we need to start working on automating things. And that's what we've done with you for the more recent years of RESO, is automate and simplify and allow you to have a more streamlined experience, the experience you expect through certification as an organization. And it was improving greatly over the years. Even our conferences had gotten much bigger, much more inclusive, much more of a community. We had really everything firing on all cylinders at RESO. And then you remember what happened. 2020, we had a conference scheduled for New Orleans. And it became very obvious very quickly that that was not going to work out for us, which is a huge disappointment for this community, because a huge part of what we do are these in-person events and getting work done here together. A lot of people told us, just cancel it. Everyone will understand. Just figure it out next year. But we asked you, and you said we still need to get together, however we can do that. And so we worked through that time together through digital summits. We got a chance to hear from our leadership. There may have been some weird sessions, self-haircuts and full beards. You remember some of those idiosyncrasies of the first few. But it was great because we got to see our leadership. We still got to come together in whatever format we could and hear from the people that we worked with. We had some good sessions, and we had some other sessions. I think half of those people on that Zoom were asleep. But we also had a pain point session that lasted almost 3 hours because people just wouldn't leave, because people just needed to be together with their RESO community and do the work and keep the work moving forward. We had a little more fun as these events went on. Some of our entertainers in our organization kept things lively for us. We tried to bring you a little bit more of an in-person feel, even though in a lot of locations we still couldn't get together in person ourselves. We had a virtual happy hour, which was a little weird, but was also a little bit fun. And we started getting some pretty incredible speakers and sessions and content. We were getting pretty good at these events and brought some heavy hitters to RESO that wouldn't normally be a part of our community. We were proud of the work you were doing to continue pushing the progress of RESO standards forward, even through very difficult circumstances. But boy, was it a heck of a lot more fun when we got back together in person. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being in person, being part of this community, and continuing to drive the work we have forward. And we can't have this community without the vision and leadership of a board of directors that writes the strategy for where we go with our products, with our specs, with our standards going forward. Usually we do a quick intro of the board and give them a round of applause, but I want to make sure that you know who these people are and the companies they represent as they represent you on the board. And as we said before, at RESO, we don't take ourselves too seriously, so the board's been prepared that we're going to use a little bit of AI to introduce them. So as you see your names, please stand and remain standing as board members. First, our Studio Ghibli group. These are your officers of RESO: Rebecca Jensen, John Breaux, Melissa King, and Richard Renton. You may recognize this theme. We have Alex Lang of NAR, Bob Evans of Realtor.com, Caitlin McCrory of Anywhere, and Dan Troop of Broker Public Portal. I know you recognize this theme. We have Dan Wiseman of NAR, Greg Moore of RMLS, Janine Sija of RPR, and Joseph Sergi of MLS Grid. Now, AI doesn't just do cartoons. We're not sure if this is a law firm or if this is folks on the other side of the law, but it's a good-looking bunch. We have Michael Hayes of Homes.com, Michael Werzer of FBS, Patrick Pichette of Realtor.ca, and Shane Fairley of Stellar MLS. And sometimes directors are just superheroes. Joe Wilhelmy of Remax, Katie Davenport of FMLS, Matt Cohen of Cotality CoreLogic, and Matt Hendricks of Zillow. And we have 2 board advisors, and this might be my favorite slide just because it's a little bit zany. Marty Reed of California Regional MLS and Ross Buck of Omni MLS. Ross, we still can't figure out why the AI thought you were B.A. Baracus, Mr. T from the A-Team, and a Space Explorer, but that's the toughest looking member of the board we've ever had, so we appreciate you being good sports about this. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for your board of directors, please. So while you're here, RESO staff is here to protect you from the outside world and all of its chaos. We want you to have a great experience, to have a streamlined experience at the event. So do reach out to us. You know a lot of these names and faces. If you need anything in terms of logistics at the event, that's what we're here for, so reach out to any of us. Importantly, if there's someone you want to meet, we know why you come to this event. We know a lot of you come to meet people, to make contacts, to put together potential deals. So reach out to us directly, and we can help introduce you. A lot of these names, you know, AI also wanted to introduce you to a new member of the staff team on the upper right here. Miles to Volcano was put into this. Now, if anybody, I heard somebody, we've got some OG Data Dictionary people out there. I apologize in advance to the newbies. There's some really bad RESO nerd humor that's in some of these slides. To be honest, we fought with the AI for an hour trying to get it to stop putting 2 Greg Saxes into every single image that it created. And we finally just gave up, so Miles is on the team. So welcome to Miles. For the new folks, do check out our website. We've got a knowledge base. We've got 200 FAQs. If you have a question about RESO, you've probably got an answer there, but obviously you can reach out to us directly in person. You may have seen our education courses. The Red B has had about 1,400 people register for the course now. A lot of companies onboarding all of their new employees to understand how the industry's data works. These companies, our Red ambassadors, have had at least 20 of their employees onboarded with the Red B course. We're just finishing up the first draft of the Red T course now, so we're going to be reaching out to some of you for the technical side, for developers and engineers, and we just got legal approval from the Canadian Real Estate Association for the Red CA, which is the Canadian version of the course. So we'll look forward to bringing that to you in the near future as well. Most of you are aware of our alignment reports. If you're looking to get in deep to your data sets, to be able to compare your data to maybe industry averages and see maybe where you can improve your data set compared to what other MLSs might be using across the country. If you're looking to compare across 2 APIs, wondering why your data might look a little bit different coming out of this vendor's API versus that one, we have alignment reports for you there. Maybe you're looking at a multi-organization collaboration, whether it's a data share or something similar. We can help you look at those data sets and see where your data lines up with those data partners. We've got a lot of education, which you may be aware of on our website as well. A lot of this you have contributed to. Our white papers on data sharing, a very comprehensive set of information about not just what exists, but what the challenges are in the industry, and real feedback from operators who have gone through data shares and have told us where the difficulties still live. We've got case studies on organizations doing work related to innovation in RESO, and current standards that are still making their way through the process, which you're going to hear a lot about, including work on unique licensee identifiers this week. I want everyone to get your phones out, pull up your camera, and get this QR code and click on the link that pops up. Pain Points is this afternoon. So starting in this session, when you hear something that you have a question about, that you disagree with, that you'd like more information about, or you're just unsure of how to get deeper information or find the right person, you can anonymously give us a topic for Pain Points this afternoon, and we can make sure that our moderators bring those up during the session. Roundtables are Wednesday morning. Thank you to the STEM practice for sponsoring. Take a look at these. You'll see them on the boards outside. You'll see them in Excel events online. so that tomorrow morning you're ready to pick out a topic, go to the roundtables before we come back for the regular sessions. And we want to give out some awards to some folks who've been doing the work for us, for their customers at RESO. So, as some of you probably know, my staff sometimes calls me Ron Burgundy because I just read what's in front of my face, and they tell me I need to pay more attention to my notes. So I'm going to do that right now. So when we call your names, we want to please ask you to stand to be recognized. And at the break, we'll get you your awards. So we'll have you go out to room number 4 over to the right to get your awards. But just stand, everyone on the same slide, please, as we go through for a round of applause at the end of each group. So our first awards, RESO Contributor Awards for Outstanding Contributions in a Work Group. We have Josh Talo of Rental Beast, Angie Baker of MyBor, Bill Gall of Builders Update, Hayden Mortimer of PlaceKey, Eric Stegeman of Solid Earth, Al McElman and the whole CoreLogic Cotality team. For transport, Jeff Rispin of T4BI, and Cody Gustafson of FBS. I hope you're all standing out there. The lights are a little bit bright. Can you give them a big round of applause, please? Our Leading Edge Award is for promoting industry education and the RED courses. We have Arizona Regional MLS. Everybody from your organization can stand up. Dorify MLS, Homes.com, Realtor.com, and Zillow. Big round of applause, please. Thank you. Leading Edge Award for Leadership in Promoting Standards. We have Pikes Peak Association and Cotality. Back up again, Cotality. A Leading Edge Award International. We have Advanced Real Estate Services from Abu Dhabi, and we have the National Association of Realtors Global. Please give them a big round of applause. And this one is a long slide, and I'm not wearing AI glasses, guys, today. These are real old eyes glasses, so I'm going to get a little bit closer. Allegheny Highland Association of Realtors, Arizona Regional MLS, Association of Interior Realtors, Baldwin Realtors, East Tennessee Realtors, FMLS, Forgotten Coast, Greater Chattanooga, Greater Metropolitan Association, Greenwich Association, Hattiesburg, Longleaf Pine Realtors, MLS Technology, New Mexico MLS, Northeast Washington Association of Realtors, Real MLS, Statewide MLS, Staten Island MLS, Terre Haute Area Association of Realtors, and Teton Board of Realtors. I hope some of you are in the room. Congratulations. Thank you.